What if I told you the website you're looking at right now doesn't exist for anyone else on Earth? Not your feed, not your search results, not even the headlines you see. We've entered the era of a bespoke internet, where AI quietly builds a completely different version of reality for every single person. And the most unsettling part is this: you don't even realize it's happening. There was a time when the internet felt shared. If something went viral, everyone saw it. If a story was trending, it dominated the conversation. There was a sense that even online, we were all looking at the same screen. But that version of the internet is gone. What replaced it is something far more personalized and far more dangerous. Because in 2026, the internet is no longer a public space. It's a system that rebuilds itself around you every time you open your device. The end of the shared screen. In the early days of social media, the idea of something being viral actually meant something. If a video took off, millions of people saw that exact same video. If a story was trending, it dominated timelines everywhere. If something sparked outrage or excitement, it pulled people into a shared moment, at the same time, reacting to the same information. There was a sense that, even in a digital world, we were still experiencing things together, a kind of collective screen. But today, that idea is quietly disappearing. Because what you see is no longer determined by what is popular. It's determined by what fits you. Modern AI systems have moved far beyond simple recommendations. They're no longer just suggesting content based on what you clicked yesterday. Now, they actively reshape the experience itself. They analyze your behavior, your preferences, your viewing patterns, your scrolling speed, even the moments where you hesitate for just a second longer than usual. And from all of that, they begin to build a version of the internet that is uniquely tailored to you. Not just what you see, but how you see it. The tone of content can shift. The order of information can change. Even the emphasis of what matters most can be adjusted in real time, which means something subtle but powerful has changed. Two people searching for the exact same topic can receive completely different answers. Not just slightly different links, but entirely different interpretations. Two people scrolling through the same app can experience completely different realities. One sees urgency, another sees calm. One sees conflict, another sees reassurance, and both believe they are seeing the real version. Your neighbor's internet doesn't look like yours, and yours doesn't look like anyone else's. The shared screen is gone, and in its place is something far more personal, far more adaptive, and far more fragmented than we've ever experienced before. The anatomy of your digital twin. To understand how all of this works, you have to start with one idea: your digital twin. Every time you interact with your device, you leave behind signals. Not just obvious ones, but subtle patterns that, over time, begin to form a detailed picture of who you are. It starts simply: what you click on, what you pause to watch, what you scroll past without thinking, what you go back to and watch again. But it doesn't stop there. Modern systems are paying attention to things you don't consciously notice. The speed of your scrolling, the moments where you hesitate, the exact point where your attention drops. Even how long your eyes linger on a specific part of the screen can be measured, analyzed, and interpreted. Individually, these signals might seem meaningless, but together, over time, they form something incredibly powerful: a behavioral map. AI systems take this constant stream of micro-interactions and begin to assemble a highly detailed psychological profile. Not just a list of your interests, but a model of how your mind works. What captures your attention fastest? What kind of content holds you the longest? What emotional triggers keep you engaged? What tone, language, and framing are most likely to influence you? It learns your patterns, it learns your reactions, and eventually, it learns how to anticipate you. At that point, something shifts. Because the system is no longer reacting to your choices, it's predicting them. And once that prediction becomes accurate enough, it becomes the foundation for everything you see. Your digital twin becomes the blueprint. Every feed, every recommendation, every piece of content begins to be shaped around that model, not just to match your preferences, but to align with your thinking itself. So instead of you navigating the internet begins to reorganize itself around you, quietly, continuously, and in real time. Generative logic and the Hall of Mirrors. This is where things begin to feel unsettling. Because AI is no longer just selecting content from a fixed pool, it's generating it in real time. What you see is no longer a static piece of information that exists the same way for everyone else. It's something that can be adjusted, reshaped, and refined the moment it reaches you. Headlines can be rewritten to better match your beliefs or expectations. Images can be subtly altered to feel more familiar, more emotionally engaging, or more aligned with what captures your attention. Even the tone of an article can shift, becoming more urgent, more calm, more persuasive depending on who is reading it. The information itself begins to adapt to you. And when that happens at scale, it creates something difficult to notice at first, but powerful once you see it clearly, a kind of digital hall of mirrors. A system where everything you encounter feels consistent with your existing perspective, where ideas don't challenge you, they echo you, where information doesn't confront your thinking, it confirms it. What you already believe is reinforced. What you already feel is amplified. What you're most likely to agree with is placed directly in front of you. And because of that, something important begins to fade away. Neutral information. The kind of information that exists independently of you. The kind that challenges your assumptions, introduces discomfort, or forces you to reconsider what you thought you understood. Instead of encountering difference, you encounter alignment. Instead of friction, you experience flow. And while that might feel comfortable, even efficient, it comes with a cost, because the more your environment adapts to you, the less you are exposed to anything outside of yourself. And over time, without even realizing it, your world begins to narrow. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gradually, quietly, and consistently, until what feels like reality is actually a reflection. The death of the public square. The internet was once compared to a public square, a place where ideas could collide, where people could disagree openly, where conversations didn't just happen, they evolved. You could step into that space and encounter perspectives you didn't expect. You could see what others were reacting to, understand why something mattered, and take part in a shared moment of attention. It wasn't always calm, it wasn't always fair, but it was collective. And that collective experience is what made dialogue possible. Because even when people disagreed, they were still reacting to the same information. They were looking at the same screen. But that only works if people are seeing the same thing. And today, that condition no longer exists. When every person is placed inside a personalized information bubble, that shared reality begins to fracture. Not all at once, but gradually. One feed becomes slightly different from another. One version of a story carries a different tone. One perspective is emphasized, while another is quietly filtered out. At first, the differences seem small, but over time, they compound. Until two people can live in the same world, yet experience completely different versions of it. And when that happens, something deeper than disagreement begins to emerge. Because disagreement assumes a shared foundation. It assumes that two people are starting from the same facts, even if they interpret them differently. But when the facts themselves are no longer shared, understanding becomes almost impossible. You begin to see others not as people with different perspectives, but as people who are simply wrong. Not because they've misunderstood, but because they're reacting to something you can't even see. You're not having the same conversation. You're responding to two completely different realities. And over time, that disconnect doesn't just create confusion. It creates distance. Distance in how people think. Distance in how they communicate. Distance in how they relate to one another. Until eventually, something else takes its place: isolation. Because even though you are surrounded by content, constantly connected, constantly engaged, everything you see has been filtered, shaped, and refined specifically for you. It feels relevant, it feels familiar, it even feels accurate, but it also becomes enclosed. And that's the paradox. The more personalized your world becomes, the more it aligns with you, the more it understands you, the more alone you can begin to feel inside it, because you're no longer sharing that space with anyone else. You're just experiencing a version of it that was built for you alone. The paradox of personalization. This is the paradox. We built AI to make the internet more relevant, more efficient, more personalized. And in doing so, we may have removed the very thing that made it powerful: a shared human experience. Because when every interaction is optimized for you, you stop encountering the unexpected. You stop seeing things that challenge you. You stop expanding. And instead, you exist inside a perfectly curated loop. Comfortable, but limited. So the question becomes, can we break out of it? There are already early signs of resistance. Movements pushing for transparency in algorithms. Calls for universal feeds that show the same information to everyone. Tools designed to introduce randomness and friction back into the system. Because sometimes the most valuable thing isn't relevance, it's exposure. Exposure to ideas you didn't search for, perspectives you didn't expect, information that doesn't perfectly align with you. That's how understanding grows. Because the real danger isn't that AI is changing the internet. It's that it's quietly changing how we experience reality itself. And if every person is living inside their own version of the world, then the question isn't just what is true anymore. It's whether we can even agree on what reality is. If you made it this far, you're already thinking about this at a deeper level than most people. So make sure you subscribe, because we're breaking down the biggest shifts happening right now before they become obvious to everyone else. And if you want to see where this is all heading next, watch the next video on your screen, because what comes after this might be even more unsettling.